we come to the beginning of a new month, February, I thought it'd be fun to go back and talk about all the books I read in January. Currently, as I'm filming this, January is not quite done. We got about 5 more days left. But considering I'm slow and I probably won't edit this till after January, I thought I'd just do this now. Everything I read in January and my thoughts. I decided to do a reread, so I reread The Hunger Games. That was the first book that I read this year, which was like so much fun. Like, I liked it a lot better this time. Like, I feel like I appreciated it more and stuff. And also, it is crazy, I feel like, rereading this after reading Sunrise on the Reaping last year, and just having that like extra context and stuff and being like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. I also watched the movie for the first time, so that was fun. But yeah, super enjoyed that. So read this book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, as well as Always and Forever, which is the sequel to this, which I don't have right now because my sister has it. These are just like super sweet little thoughts. I just read it one night, basically. Super sweet. I just love those books. Then I read Six of Crows. I did have them. I borrowed from my friend the first book, and then I got the second book from the library, but I just returned them both today, so unfortunately I can't show you, but I'll just pop up the covers. Those were super fun. When I read the first one, I loved a lot. I felt like it kind of made me think of Firefly, which is maybe a really niche reference, but a very like group of sort of misfit scallywag criminals that kind of butt heads all the time but have to work together for like a common thing is just such a fun trope that was just a blast to read. I really loved the way there was like the hunted and hunter kind of romance trope that was just like a side plot, because I feel like that's something that kind of takes over an entire book a lot of the times, like with Powerless or To Kill a Kingdom, and I don't love it very much. It's like, okay, that's, I don't know, it's just not my favorite romance trope ever, but I felt like it worked pretty well as like a side plot with Matthias and Nina, and they were just super fun, like just the opposites of them, but then them working together and stuff. The second one I didn't like as much, I will say. I don't really know if it was just because I no longer found the characters exciting and I felt like they were just them again, and I didn't really feel like there was much point to the second one, maybe. And I think it was also, I felt like in the first one I could kind of overlook the terribleness of some of the characters and just how awful and the things they do. I was like, oh, they just have flaws and stuff. But when reading the second one, I was kind of just like, this is not good. I don't know. I felt like I didn't feel like Kaz in any way was like justified in anything he did, which to me that's kind of important with a character. And it was like, okay, so he's kind of an anti-hero, I guess, which can work, but I still feel like his acts should be justified, and I just couldn't get behind just because he had a terrible thing happen to him when he was a kid. Now he will get all the revenge he needs, and he's just like bloodthirsty and stuff, and I just don't really like that. Not like it's pretending that he's good, but I feel like he should be. I don't know. So that was one thing I just didn't really like about the second one. It kind of just fell off, and then I just didn't care as much for the whole story in itself. Anyway, those are all the books I read start to finish this month. Currently, I'm reading Till We Have Faces, which I am really enjoying. I was sort of having a bit of a reader's block and trying to find a new book to read, and I started like a bunch of books and none of them interested me, and then this kept catching my eye on our bookshelf, and I was like, oh, I think I need to read this. So I started reading it, and I am super invested. I'm loving this. So this book is basically the story of the myth of Cupid and Psyche, but told through the eyes of the sister of Psyche. It's really different than any other C.S. Lewis I've ever read. It's not like as childish as Narnia, but it's not as like heady and like confusing as Out of the Silent Planet, and it's like super easy to follow along with the story and what's going on and all the characters and stuff. I will say, I did not realize the main character, it's first person. I didn't realize her name until like page 70. Someone was like Oriel, I think is what her name is, Oriel. And I was like, who's that? And then I was like, oh, that's the main character. So that was interesting. I don't know. So I'm interested in to see where it goes, and I'm really, really liking this book. For one last book, I just literally read one chapter, picked up from the library, is The Naturals. I've been wanting to read this book for a long time. I read The Inheritance Games, and I really enjoyed those books. Like, those were some of the first, like, popular booktube books that I actually didn't hate. So I was thinking about buying these books, honestly, but still I don't think I need to own them. And I couldn't find it at the library, but now it's new. They finally have it. Also, like, look, it's like one of the sprayed edge versions. Super fancy. So I'm excited to get into this. So that's everything I read in January, as well as my current reads that I hopefully will be done before January is over. But yeah, it was a good reading month for me for sure. Super excited to see where my channel goes. Obviously right now I've got like 8 views on some of my videos, but like, I don't know, we'll see. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, you could like it. You don't have to, but you could. And I will see you in the next video, because I will make another video. I don't even know what I'm saying. How do I do an outro that's not super awkward?